what advice would you give you to the new generation to do what you're doing at the level that you're doing it?
So for me, let's say
OPH, so nice to have you here. Thank you so much for your time.
happy to be here too.
Oh man, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Not too long. And I missed your fucking closing.
Hey, I know.
Oh, first experience, how was it?
Wow. I mean, the amazing thing for me was to first of all play my first solo, but also it was a closing at the same time, so it's like a double challenge. And I don't know, I think it went great to my perspective. I really enjoyed playing. It was, of course, very stressful to prepare. But yeah, I don't know. I took advice from a friend who told me that to not overthink it too much and just play everything I always wanted to play in this place, and at least it would look like me.
And it did. I heard very good feedback.
Thank you.
OPH, you do have this face-to-face project with your good friend that introduced us, Chami, who we had the chance to have last year on the show. Thank you, Chami. How did you evolve, come up with this project, did your thing on your own?
So I forgot actually what he said in the episode he did with you. So I might repeat a lot of stuff, but well, first of all, it started with us being friends, us moving to Berlin together 10 years ago-ish. And before, we knew each other from our studies in Lyon. But before that, we were not really playing together. And it started thanks to a back-to-back we did in 2016 in Arena. And it was complicated for us to get along on what to play. And then after that, we played several times back-to-back. And we really worked on this relationship together and on how, for instance, he brought me a lot of things about how to construct a set, how to create structures and make a coherent progression. And on my side, I brought him more colors in terms of styles in the set. Because at the beginning, I was playing everything, but in a weird order. And yeah, after a while, we figured out that there was this effect when you play two tracks and they fit perfectly together. And since we play strictly vinyl, then you have to remove it and then to play the other one. And we always thought, okay, that would be nice to have actually a second mixer or like an additional set of turntables to keep the loop evolving. And yeah, I don't know, during COVID, there was this stream we did. And I think it was like we could play for as long as we wanted. So since it was a stream and not in a club, because we never dared actually to try this project, in a club, because there's more risk. Sure. We were like, okay, we could try it actually in a stream at home. It's more comfortable for us. And yeah, I mean, we're happy with the results. Of course, it was the first time and it was fully improvised, so there was a lot of moments where it was really not well. But there were also some really nice moments, and we also enjoyed the dynamic that it created. It was really more than a back-to-back. And so we worked a bit more on the project, and we recorded one on YouTube in a studio of a friend, Studio DB. And yeah, after that we got 2 gigs, one in France, one in Berlin. And yeah, then we had this opportunity to play in Berghain. And that's where the project became bigger in terms of visibility.
And you don't play really B2B anymore, but face-to-face, where the configuration is like you're facing each other. Chami told us about the signs you're doing, like how you play. That was very interesting. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have a good connection, and for instance, even back-to-back, I only play with him. I don't really play with other people. Because we grew up in techno together. We understand this music. We have our own way to understand this music. And also we have our own language. So when friends of us, they come close to us in clubs when we are talking about techno. They don't understand what we said. They're always like, okay, I'm going to take a break now. And yeah, we also came up with this. So I said that because when we look at each other, in the eyes of each other, we already know more or less what's happening. But we also need sign language. It's for instance, if I want him to remove the kick, or if I ask him to reduce the pitch, the speed of the vinyl, or other things like this. Or also if I want to know how much time left there is on the record. Like I do like this, and you do like this to tell me it's 1/2. Yeah, that's a funny thing I think to see. But we play, we played mostly face to face like that. So on the side,
it's more special, definitely. And you have roots in metal music.
Yeah. So it's funny because I started quite. I don't know if I started late, but I was listening to a lot of metal as a teenager and early 20s, and I was not really. I had a really bad image of electronic music. For me, it was for clubbers, Ibiza, stuff like this.
Look at you now.
Yeah, and then, but I found in techno stuff that I liked in metal, meaning that what I liked in metal was the fact that it's a rather dark and sad or angry music, and that it allows you to process some feelings that you have. It's like you give your feelings to the music, and then it puts life in them, and then you can all of a sudden you grow, you evolve. And I found that in techno, and my way to techno was purely by chance. Like, just someone showed me music that was not Ibiza stuff, but like more experimental, like FX Twin, for instance. Or, and also it was the time when this angry electro, like Justice, Boys Noise, Mastercraft, was really exploding.
That's 17 years ago.
Please don't say that.
Oh, geez.
And that was my entry point, actually. Then I went to more breakbeat stuff, UK stuff, bass music, to finding my own path in this in the electronic music world. And yeah, my entry to techno was via artists like that were playing more breakbeat and UK stuff inside techno, like Shed or Answer Code Requests. And also a lot of artists from the UK, actually, like Blawan also. They were the one that really pushed me to go to this direction.
How did that help to develop your own style?
What do you mean?
Of playing? Because like there are many different influences. Like for you, how did you develop this style over the last years?
That's a good question, actually, because it's really hard to answer the question. So what do you play? Because there's so many things to say, and also at the same time, people need to have to labelize you quickly. They don't have the time to listen to your 4 pages manifesto about what you like to play.
It's called a bio nowadays.
Yeah, who reads that? I mean, I feel like I've been to many styles, as I said, and I see more now my style as the sum of all of these different DJs that I was in the past. Like, for instance, what I always like is when I go deep in a style, like as an obsession, and then I feel like, okay, I saw everything I wanted to see, and then I come back. I take a step back. I like this feeling of adding an artifact to my, in my bag.
Yeah, kind of that's skill, the tool.
Exactly, yeah, and it affects the way to play. Of course, as you said, that if you play more dynamic, like style of music, more like 2000 stuff or 90 stuff, you have a sporty way of using the mixer. If you play more mental, like hypnotic, then you use the mixer a bit more, not wisely but carefully. Now it's a mix of both.
You moved to Berlin 10 years ago. What is your relationship to this city?
For me, it was, I would say that two main things. So for personal reasons, this city was kind of a place I was kind of reborn. Like when I moved to Berlin, I lost my dad, and it was a complicated time for me. And I found like a way to live my grief through that, via a lot of parties, meeting new friends, and also I think, expanding my personality, because I think I was feeling too blocked, I think, in Lyon, my hometown. And I think also I really enjoyed my time in Lyon, the scene in Lyon, the people I met there. But I felt like at some point I wanted something more authentic and going really directly to the source. So let's go to Berlin.
Makes sense.
And it's in these two senses that Berlin affected me, in the more personal catharsis one, and in the development as a techno DJ.
And on the creative way?
On the creative way, I mean, also in Lyon, nobody knew that I was DJing. I spent 5 years living in my room, secretly, imposter syndrome, really big.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Berlin, I learned how to play on vinyl. And from that moment, when I knew how to play on vinyl, that was the moment I considered myself a DJ, or I was saying that I was DJing. And that's also, also 10 years ago, people were playing much more with vinyl.
While the scene evolved a lot over the last year.
Yeah, I mean, also, I think we can agree on the fact that Corona played a big role in how the scene changed. It's another spoken topic. I don't know if I can add too much on that, actually, but the main thing I think for me it changed was it created this generational gap, where people, like the younger people, did not have the opportunity to party with people that are a bit older to
get educated.
Or I like the term educated, but at the same time it can feel a bit pretentious.
Yes.
What I mean. But educated in a good, in the sense of sharing.
Thing.
Yeah. It's more like
just like big brothers and sisters showing the younger generation, like, hey, this is what we do, this is how we do it. Just like come with us in a good way.
Exactly.
And we're just gonna go learn to walk, or learn to draw, whatever.
Exactly. It's more in that sense. And I think there's a lot of people from my generation and older who look at the young crowd in a way that is not the right way, because there's always new scenes, new trends. I've been through new trends, and some people were pissed at me, and we should just try to get it all working together.
You just need to improve your dance moves, my friends.
Exactly.
But yeah, I get your point. How would you reconnect with the younger generation then? What would be an entry point?
Entry point, well, so we mentioned education, but in the terms of actually talking, sharing experiences with them, I think already changing your mindset towards the people, the way you speak to them, the way you... Also, I think some people in the scene are being a bit too elitist. Don't get me wrong, I'm into high quality, I'm into pushing the boundaries, doing even better, but I'm not saying we should just take whatever comes as something to be considered all the time. But I should, I think, try to be a bit more open-minded to the new things, because eventually these new trends will lead to, that might be a bit too mainstream for some people, will lead to some of those people finding their way and making something of quality out of it. I think it's something that the DVS one said in a recent interview that I forgot exactly what he said, but along the lines of it's an entry gate for some people, and whatever the gate you take, the more important is the steps you do after.
Of course. Well, in cities like Berlin, you have the chance to get yourself educated by going to a lot of parties, and I think it's important for yourself as a person, to experience as many different events as you can, to decide and to understand, okay, there is so many different kinds and genres of music, to understand, okay, everything is happening, who are the people behind that, because nowadays everything is so political, and also to understand, okay, who are the people behind the scenes, what are they representing, what do they do, why do they do this, and music-wise also, to determine what you like as a person, eventually as an artist, also to develop your creativity and your future, and you as a person as well. I became the person I am nowadays because of the club. This is something I was already saying a year ago in another podcast. It's just a fact that club culture shapes people. It's an escape to the reality, but in a good way. Like, it's important for us to make the spaces safe and to keep them safe.
Totally. I would also add one point on that, is that during COVID, I think we all realized that's an injunction. But during COVID, I see that many people really missed the dance floor, and not just for the fun aspect of it, but also because of the therapeutical aspects that the dance floor brings to us. That it also, it's a catharsis, you know. Dancing also is something really powerful in your mind. Connecting, bonding with people, forgetting reality. It's something that can bring a lot, actually, and is quite overlooked. And when clubs were closed, and we were like, raising these concerns to people that are not from the club scene, it sounded ridiculous, for them, because it's just seen as something funny, just to entertain people, but not to, If you look at ancient civilizations, you often find these rituals where people gathered around the totem, sometimes under the effect of substances, and it's something profoundly human. It's a need that we have.
Yeah, and it reminds us of the heartbeat of our mothers. Like, it's a fatal memory.
Yeah,
I've listened to this in some podcast a few years ago. I really love that. The fact that it's like it's such a primal instinct for us to feel a beat and to dance to it, because like it comes from the inside, and this is something we do have in electronic music. What do you see the scene in 5 or 10 years after all these trends, or like despite all the trends?
Well, for like an job interview, do you see yourself in 5 years?
I mean,
no, I'm making fun.
How famous you want to be?
No, but the scene, I'm curious actually about that. I don't know. I think, so I said I didn't want to speak too much about Corona, but in the end, I'm going to add one more on that. I think after Corona, the scene changed a lot, and that it was hard for promoters, bookers, DJs, like everybody in the scene to grasp what was happening. And I feel that over the years, all starts to take shape naturally and harmonically. One thing that is for sure is that in 5-10 years, the BPM will finally start to go down a bit. We can see that happening right now.
Finally.
Finally, it was exhausting. I mean, I've been there as well, but I think it's... Actually, I think there's going to be a bit more connection between the old and the new sound, because there was this big revival of the rave sound, 90s sound, but then there was 10-15 years of new techno, of more modern techno. But this more modern techno was not old enough to be old school.
In between.
It was in between. And I think now I see more and more people playing tracks from between 2012 and 2016, let's say, or 17, which are, for me, like kind of the forgotten years nowadays. And a lot of people are playing that more and more, because finally it's old enough.
I remember these years as being the kind of tech house years. From the hype, and it was trendy. At least like where I'm from, where we used to party, that was the kind of vibe that was going on, that was like in, but yeah.
For me, it was a more melodic vibe, I would say, from my memories, The music was a bit more, was still hard in the kicks, but a bit less groovy than nowadays, because nowadays they're groovy. You have to go with the bass line. So more like big kicks with melodies and pads, and that's the memories I have from that time. Blue lights.
And do you produce yourself?
And one more point for Corona. I during COVID took the time to start producing, as many other people did. It's something I wanted to do for almost a decade, but I was really focusing on DJing, and also I was I think, scared to really know where to start. And since I had a couple of friends around me who were producing,
I wanted to say you're pretty well surrounded, so it should be okay.
I don't, totally. That's a big help. I think that's the power of community to me. It's a really big point for me in nowadays scene. It's really important.
What does community mean to you?
What does community means?
Let's start with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
How did you develop your friendships here in Berlin since you moved here?
Actually, so I'm more like I have this introvert extrovert personality, which means that I can be crazy with people that I know I feel confident with, but if I don't know you, I'm quite shy. It's really hard for me to not create connection, but it's hard for me to
break the ice.
Go and break the ice, to force it in a way, to initiate the opportunity, make the first move. So for me, let's say networking or like creating connections, it's also like a human connection, and then we can bond as artists. But first, it has to come with the human connection.
And then reminds me of what Olivia said.
Yeah.
About Olivia Mendes, about her new project. That's gonna be. Oh, it's already on the podcast. I'll let you check it out. Somewhere here. Those are interesting. And we've met also through this community.
Mm-hmm.
We created a great community with the actual scene from our genre, I would say. This is going to be pretty massive in a few years.
The size of this community, you mean?
I think so. Well, it's kind of like the community after Corona, like Techno is like kind of reborn. There's this new chapter also of this project, what I wanted to capture with this kind of like, not going back to the roots necessarily, but like to remind people, okay, despite all the things that are happening online with social media, we want to focus on the music and what the people really like genuinely and like to do authentic things. And I think this is something we do find in our group of friends.
Yes, I mean, also what you say reminds me of the luck we also have to be in Berlin. For like the luck we have to also, I mean, in Berlin, techno is a local business, It's not a business, but you know what I mean.
It's an industry.
Yeah, it's an industry. What I mean by that is people are very approachable. You can easily talk to the artists that you like. There is not this star, or like idol kind of.
Depends what I would say.
I mean, depends where, but and depends who. But no, I mean, it's easy to create connections here. So yeah, I think the size of the community in Berlin is gonna grow even bigger because there's, I think, more and more people moving here to actually enjoy this local community and the fact that it's easy to create and initiate projects with people. And yeah, that's the main thing actually for me about this group of people that you were mentioning.
Mm-hmm. And what's next?
What's next? More collabs, more projects, and yeah, you also mentioned social media. I think it's people are trying to play the game to be real, but at the same time be visible, and it's always like a thin line. I don't know anyone who's actually comfortable doing that, and I think that if we can bring more life to it and more human, like face-to-face interactions, then it's for the best.
We've talked about how your friendship evolves over the last years. You have plenty of artists around you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you support each other?
So there are two friends and artists that I'm really close with, who are obviously Chami, but also Olivia Mendes, that we spoke about before. And what I like now is that I have my relationship with Chami, and now also Olivia starts a project with Chami as well. And it's good because then, and also I'm really close with Olivia. We always, support each other, help each other to prepare sets, or just to think about music, share tracks. Same I do with Chami, same they do together. I think it's really important to support your friends, and a good way for that also is this mindset of being happy for other people's success. That's
taking and giving.
Yeah, that's an important point. Yeah, I mean, it's growing together, This is, that's a key mentality as well.
What advice would you give to the new generation to do what you're doing at the level that you're doing it?
Oh, wow, this going to sound so cheesy, but never give up. That's yeah.
And to build intense and authentic relationships with these people. Find genuine.
Actually, so I'll rewind this answer. So it's never give up, yes, but also surround yourself with people that are real and that you trust. People whom you can be happy about their success as well, and don't have this mentality of just surrounding yourself with people that you can use their success for your own success, because some people in the community also have this community mindset, but just in order to make the community grow and grow with it. But the idea is more to elevate the level of the music and not just your own success, It's to create something meaningful. And to me, to create something meaningful comes with real relationships and real intention.
I think it goes hand in hand, but with an exchange. If you contribute, because of course you get better, you bring other people up, but if you show other people how to do it, then everyone gets better. And that's how you make the things improve. This is what they've built in the 90s with the development of the scene, with the sound of Detroit. Berlin had the spaces, and they both worked together to make what it is nowadays. And nowadays we see an explosion of this industry.
Yes, totally.
Let it be also with the festivals and the clubs, where even if there's so many clubs closing, that have to close down because of real estate and the absurd high rents, there's even more and more DJs. So I think we're not in a bad spot, but we're creating for this podcast also a place of exchange to make the scene better. I mean, I've talked already for a very long time about this.
No, but I think it's going in a good direction, honestly, because I see that there are many people who have good intentions, and there's also a lot of sharing at the moment. Either it's master classes, there's much more also interviews, like this great interview channel that you have, and I don't know. There's more sharing, more knowledge sharing, more. We're going to something real.